want to pick up everything and I have time for nothing. It is wild to think that I wrote a book. Hello, welcome to Risawa Reads. I am Deja, and today we are doing another reading vlog. It has been quite a few days since I wrapped up my last reading vlog, and I have been busy. I had family come over, and we went to a book festival that was happening in Chicago. Printers Row, I guess, is something that they do every year. I want to say this was their 50th year doing it, or maybe their 49th. I can't exactly remember, but I know they've been doing it for a very long time. And so I wanted to go because I am trying to do more bookish things off of the internet. And it was really nice. Like the weather was pretty nice and it was filled with people just on this like street. And they had all these various tents and like book companies and authors and stuff. There were a lot of children's books authors, which I'm not necessarily surprised about. I feel like everybody and their mama is like writing a children's book, but like I bought some children's books for my niece and nephew. There was one about a fairy, and then there was another one that was about like we don't have to fight or whatever. So I bought them that. And then I got a few books for myself. I got the Gilda stories. And then I got this like short fiction novel from this press in Indiana. It looked like they had like a lot of Hispanic and Latino authors. And I've never heard of this press before or any of their stories. So yeah, I was interested to try one. So I picked up one that seemed like it fits like the spooky fall vibes. I'm forgetting the title, but I'll put that on the screen. But my highlight of that is that I actually got to meet Tamara Jure, which was really nice. I knew that she was going to be there because the Steamy Lit booth had a tent, and it was interesting to see people that I've seen online in person. There was an author. There was actually two authors that I didn't necessarily speak to, but like I recognized them. Like I saw Evelyn Lay. She was at the signing booth with Tamara Jure, and Cynthia A. Rodriguez was also there. It's so interesting seeing these people in person. Like, I don't know. It was just hard for me to wrap my mind around that these are people that I follow on social media that like they're actually like here. So yeah, that was like an interesting experience. But meeting Tamara Jerry was definitely my highlight. I got my two copies that I have of her book signed, A Wolf Steps in Blood, I believe that's what it's called, and The Fall That Saved Us. And it was just nice seeing her. I took a picture and everything. And of course, I didn't mention this before, but as soon as her pre-orders went open, like I bought a copy. Like straight from her website. I think I was one of the first people that like bought a copy, and I was just like, I need it. Like, I need it now. Like, just saying that it's like more Maleficent coded and it's more fantasy rather than like paranormal. And it's knowing like her writing is just so beautiful. Like, I'm ready. I'm so ready for it. And she said that it will be signed since I ordered from her website. And so I'm just very excited. And I also have an arc of it. So I am very keen to get started on it. And it was just, yeah, I really liked it. I really liked being outside of the bookish internet and just being amongst fellow book lovers. And it was just nice. I am planning to go to another one in October. I'm volunteering for the Book Harvest Festival. It's a little bit of ways for me just from where I am in the Chicago area, but I'm using these events just to see how I like bookish events. Because, like I said, I am trying to get more outside of the bookish internet. And so I'm just very curious how this experience is going to be. I am allowed to attend a lot of the things that are happening at the bookish event as a volunteer, just whenever I'm not volunteering. So I feel like this will be a good experience for me to see if I even like going to bookish events. And there will also be authors there that I know of that will be interesting to see in person again. So yeah, I'm diving into bookish events, which is strange to like think about. But yeah, so far the first one, the community one that I went to was really nice. And my sister, who I went with, and my niece and nephew, of course, she was just like, it's so quiet for a festival. I was like, it's a bookish festival for bookish people. So like it's not gonna be like crazy like loud or anything. But anyway, let's like get this vlog started because I actually, in my time away from vlogging, I finished a book. I started Candace, the Universe, and Everything, and I actually finished it. I think I read it in like a week, maybe a little under a week, which is actually fairly fast for me considering I've been reading a lot of books for a long time lately. But considering that I read that like that quickly, it was a nice change of pace. And I feel like it kind of got me back into the reading mood. So Candace Universe and Everything is I want to say middle grade, but I almost feel like it's that space between middle grade and YA. I almost want to say older middle grade readers will probably like it. It takes place when Candace is in 8th grade, but I'm almost thinking that some of the things that happen, I don't know if a middle grade audience would be captivated by it. There are some perspectives, very rarely, but like sometimes we do go into the perspective of adult characters, which I found fascinating for middle grade, but like they're few and far between. But that was definitely something that I noticed. I was like, oh, never seen this in a middle grade before. But yeah, I feel like it's for that like maybe 12-year-old age range, I want to say, which is still middle grade, but like middle grade and YA is in this weird space right now. So I'm not exactly sure how to categorize it, especially because I don't know many kids around that area. So I'm curious what like librarians and other bookish professionals will want to categorize this as, because I'm not exactly sure if it fits better in YA in like the younger range or if it fits better in middle grade. But anyway, this story is basically following Candace, who, like I said, is an 8th grader starting her 8th grade year of school. And over the summer, like her friends did something without her, and now she's like kind of feeling like an outcast, and there's like this rift between her and her friends. But in the midst of this, she has this strange locker that kind of makes things appear and disappear, and it basically spurs her along on this like whole mystery on like what is like her locker, and it kind of deals with like wormholes and like portals a little bit. But I will say that the main story I feel like this is not really sci-fi. I feel like this story is really about friendship. And Candace finds friendship with like these two older ladies who are kind of connected by these 40-year age gaps with the wormholes, because they're all kind of connected to this one locker. They all have the same locker just within like 40-year differences. So Candace is the most recent one that has this locker. And so since they're all connected, they kind of like hang out and try to figure out like what are these wormholes. But like I said, it's not really about like discovering what these wormholes are. There's not really like a sci-fi plot, I will say. I feel like the sci-fi elements of these like wormholes and the bird watching and all of that, I feel like it was really just a way for these characters to come together and like form their friendships and stuff like that, because she's having friendships with these older ladies while she's having a strenuous relationship with her old best friends, and just trying to navigate all these different relationships with multiple people in 8th grade, like being a preteen. There's all that like stuff happening. So I feel like that was what the story was about. And once I came around to that idea that this is what this story is about, I feel like I started to appreciate it a little bit more. I will say that towards the middle, like it started to drag a little bit for me. I want to say maybe like the 30 to like 50% mark, like it started to drag for me because in the beginning I was very much hooked. Like there was that mystery of like what's going on. But then as soon as like they all kind of like meet together and they start going to like look for these different um portals or wormholes, that's when I feel like it started to like drag a little bit for me and it became a little bit more about like the friendship aspect. But I have read this author before when I was a kid. They wrote Orleans, and I really enjoyed that one. I still feel like they are a great writer, but I'm very curious what other people will think about this book because it is not what I expected, especially coming from Orleans, but I still feel like it was a decent read, and I'm curious how it will land with the audience that it's intended for, which I think is that older, middle grade, younger YA range. So, yeah, I finished that one, and I actually started another one, despite the fact that I'm still in the middle of like three other books. But I started another arc that I had because the Candace in the Universe and Everything book was an arc that I got from the publisher. So, thank you for that. But the other arc that I started was The Daughter of Shiloh, which is a historical romance that comes out in October. I have only read the first chapter, but so far I feel like I had to skim a lot of it just because it was just giving like a extra historical details, and usually like I don't mind that, but I'm such a character driven reader that like before I start getting like more information about like where we are in this world and like just what's happening in this world, like I feel like I need to connect or follow the characters first. I feel like there needs to be some kind of like hook, and I haven't had that hook yet. So, yeah, it'll be interesting to see how this book progresses because I'm not hating it, but I'm not like, oh, I'm absolutely in love. Like, I gotta know what happens, like I was when I was reading that Parker J. Cole book that I really liked. So I'm still going to continue it and give it a little bit more time, but I'm being very liberal with my DNFs for this later half of the year, especially if they are arcs, because I don't have time. I don't have time to just be trying to trudge through books that I don't have any interest in reading. So I'm saying that, and I am still reading Fever Star. So I have not picked up this book since I last talked about it. Actually, wait, I think I did because it looks like I'm in the middle of a chapter because I stopped in the middle of a chapter somehow. Yeah. So I'm on chapter 6 right now and I'm still not hating it. Like I said, like I really like Rebecca Roanhorse's writing. I just haven't been hooked yet. And I think it's just because I'm still in the beginning where things are being set up. So I think once I actually like sit down and read it, I will be fine. I'm still reading the Magic and Melanin anthology. The next story is by C.M. Lockhart, which I have started. I just haven't been called to like pick up short stories. So I keep like going back to the beginning because I'm just like, I kind of just want to like read a longer story. And so that's the only reason why I haven't like continued that because I just haven't been in the mood for short stories. And then I'm still reading the sci-fi romance through audiobook and I have not read more of that. I'm thinking that I might just start it over. It's due soon at the library. So if my time runs out, I might just pick up the ebook. But with all my arcs, like I've been reading a lot of ebooks and I kind of just want to either listen to something or read something physically. It is currently the 30 and 30 manga challenge that's hosted by Izzy, Shae, and Ashley, which I'll link their channels down below. But I decided that I'm going to try to participate. And so I'm going to be trying to read just two books. And so the two books that I chose were just, they're in the same series. But I'm going to try the Blood on the Tracks books. I heard a lot of people talking about this a few years ago. And I heard that it just gets like kind of wild. So I don't know. I feel like it has like the darker themes that I'm kind of looking for right now. So I'm thinking I will try those. I'm trying not to go over 5 books reading, but it is currently fall and I'm just in the fall mood. Like I just want to pick up so many fall things. And then I also did that try a chapter. And so there's so many of those books that I want to pick up as well, especially because some of them just are perfect for the fall season, like The Ghost of Gwendolyn Montgomery or the two highlights of that video, the Intergalactic Empire of Wakanda or Homerton season, and I'm just like, I want to pick up everything and I have time for nothing. So I don't know. I don't know what I'm gonna pick up. I'm gonna try to finish some things in here, but I feel like I've been saying that the last three vlogs and I haven't finished anything that I've been reading for the last few months. So we're just gonna vibe and yeah. But right now I'm gonna get ready to go to work. I think actually what time is it? Yeah, I'm gonna get ready to go to work. I probably will eat breakfast first, but yeah, I thought I would start this vlog because if I don't do it now, then I'm probably not gonna do it, and I need to do that because I'm trying to stick to my schedule right now. I've been doing really good at not necessarily posting every week, but I feel like I have been kind of in like a routine on how I can get content recorded. Like I try to have it at least like 2 weeks in advance. So yeah, I feel like I've been doing good and I'm trying to stick to that. So yeah, let me go ahead and get to work, eat breakfast, and I will check in later. I finished the book, which is, I don't know, I feel like I'm still trying to process it because literally it was Friday through Sunday that like I wrote 12,000 words to finish this draft of my sci-fi romance. And so if you're sensing a lot of low energy, that's partly the reason why because I am exhausted, but I am super happy that this draft is done. I already sent it to a few writer friends and I'm just like, wow. Like it's wild to think that I wrote the end on a project, but like the draft is done. Like it's crazy. And so now I'm getting ready to go into revision mode. I mean, not immediately because I'm definitely taking a break. Like I'm not going to touch it for like another month, but like wow, it is wild to think that I wrote a book. And this isn't the first time that I've finished a book. I've actually written this sci-fi romance 5 times. This is the fifth time I've rewritten that because it wasn't working for me. But even before writing the sci-fi romance, I think I finished like three other projects before I started the sci-fi romance. So like it's not new to me to finish a book, but I just feel like when you're just really in it and you're just really in like the writing cave because honestly, it really is like a writing cave. Like I feel like I haven't seen daylight in a minute, but when you're in the writing cave, it almost seems like impossible to finish something, but it's done at like 82,000 words. It's done. And that's wild to think because technically I also finished this back in February, but it still wasn't exactly working for me. And so I rewrote it again. And so, yeah, it's wild to think that I'm that much closer to putting a book out there. And yeah, I'm still processing and I'm tired. So it's just a lot to think about. I'm happy and also terrified of next steps, but like, you know, I'm proud of myself that I finished. And so now I'm going to take a break. And to take a break, I'm going to be reading. So I have been reading just a little bit, not a lot, because I was focused on writing. But I read the next 3 short stories in the Magic and Melanin anthology. Oh my gosh. I'm so tired. So my brain is blanking. But the first one I think is the CM Lockhart one. We're going on a god hunt, I believe. And this one I think is purely because of personal preference in terms of like narrative styles that I like. Like I like CM Lockhart's writing, but I think just the style of this short story didn't work for me because we're really being told the story from somebody that is basically observing and following along with these 2 other characters that are actually doing the god hunting. And it is usually really hard for me to get on board with that kind of narrative storytelling just because I prefer character driven stories. And there is something to be said that you can have a character driven story from somebody else's like perspective. And I don't think that the characters are bad in this one. I actually really liked their dynamic with each other. Especially between Shirley and Barbara. Like I really like their little banter back and forth because it would seem like they don't even like each other because they're always just like nitpicking back and forth with each other. But I just really enjoyed like seeing those 2 go together. But when you add in Jennings, who is the person on the outside who's just saying like all these things that he's observing, like just following them, I I don't know. I just wasn't in love with that. Like I don't think it was bad, but it just wasn't like a favorite. That was pretty much like the first half of the story, getting this information about who these characters are, what he's doing there, and just basically setting up the story. And then once we actually get to the second half, this is where more of the action happens. And I've said it before on my channel, but I do not like reading pages upon pages of action scenes. I just start to get bored. And it's not because like the writing is bored, but I just don't like reading pages upon pages of fight scenes. Like I just don't find them that interesting. Like I'm just like they're fighting. We know who's gonna win. Like can we just get to the point? But like that's just a me thing. Like I'm not a huge like action person when it comes to books in general. So I honestly think that this story was fine. Like I just think that personal preference, it just wasn't for me. And then I read Mama Cactus Sky by Moses Sosei Utami, which one of my favorite authors because I love the Forever Desert novella trilogy and his writing is just so I don't even know. Like I just get pulled into his writing immediately. And in this short story, we are following this like young kid who is in this kind of society that is in like a desert, I want to say, and they're covered by this like huge cactus that like basically gives them like shelter from like the heat and stuff. But he's noticing that this cactus is dying and nobody's really believing him and stuff and like the story just kind of goes on from there. But there's just so much more to the story. Like I really enjoy theme driven and character driven stories, especially in short stories. In longer works, I don't necessarily need the theme to be like super like heavy or anything, but like short stories, like I almost want to have like the purpose. Like I don't want just a mini novel, if that makes sense. Like I want to come away thinking about something when it comes to like the short stories. And I feel like Moses Sosei Utami like really did that. Like there's stuff going on with like the women in this society that was just very fascinating. Like I feel like this is a story that like I would come back to just to see like what I would think of it again. There was so much in this story for such a short story because I think this was one of the shorter stories because it didn't take me as long to like read it. In this story, I feel like it does what I like in fantasy. Like it explores like a what if for society in these like speculative elements, like having this huge cactus and just exploring like societies, I think. And I don't know, I really liked it. I don't want to spoil it because I could definitely spoil it, but I really love his writing and I really love just how much it made me want to like immediately reread it. So I feel like I would give this one like 4.5 stars, which I'm not surprised because, like I said, I love the Forever Desert trilogy. And I feel like his writing really carries over into the short story format. So yeah, I really appreciated this one. Now, I will say it kind of made me a little mad, like what was happening with the women, but like honestly, I still think that this was a really strong story, and I just cannot wait to read more by him. Like, I don't think I'll read his YA book just because I'm not usually into YA these days, but any other adult fantasy books, like, I feel like I'm there because yeah, I really enjoy his writing. And then the last one that I read was what is it? I think I Want His Sister or something like that by Purvis. This one I feel like was fine. I was surprised actually to find that it was connected to this author's debut, Make Chaos Reign Over You. I was like, why does this sound so familiar? Why is this name familiar? And I was like, oh, this is the character from the opening scene of the May Chaos Reign Over You. And I was like, oh, I was not expecting that. So that caught me by surprise. And I only know that was like the character from the opening scene because I tried a chapter of May Chaos Reign Over You just to see if I would be interested in it. And I'm still going back and forth. I need to read more of it to see if I'm actually interested in that one. But going back to the short story, this one is following a character from that story. And this one, I feel like it was fine. It is labeled as romantic fantasy, but I think my main complaint with this is not that it was like bad, but I almost feel like for a romantic fantasy or fantasy romance, like I don't really feel like there was chemistry. Like I feel like it was more political than it was romantic because she's in this arranged marriage with this guy that she doesn't really want. And he has all this drama and stuff happening, and basically the entire story isn't necessarily about building the chemistry between the sister of the guy she's supposed to marry. It was more so just like a setup to how they do get it together. But I don't know. When I'm going to romantic fantasy or even like fantasy romance, like I'm almost expecting the chemistry to take a forefront than like the political things. But I don't really think that there was actually romance in this one. So like it was fine, but I don't think it was like a fave. So I think I would give this one three, maybe 3.5 stars. But yeah, it wasn't a fave, but it wasn't bad. But that has been my reading so far. I kind of read a little bit more of Fevered Star, but I was so exhausted that I just had to put it back down because I didn't like I mentally wasn't ready to pick it up after that long weekend. So I haven't picked that up. My library hold for Memory Lost, it lapsed, and so I put that one on pause for now on Storygraph, which is a feature that I absolutely love on Storygraph right now because yeah, I just some of these books, like it's not that I'm not liking them, but like I just have to be in the mood for them, or there's just like certain reasons why I can't like continue until I just put them on pause because it's not a day enough, but I don't want to add them back to my TBR. So yeah, I just put it on pause. And so that one I'm thinking I would do the audiobook, not the audiobook, the ebook the next time I check it out. But I'm reading so many ebooks right now that I'm just not going to be able to pick that up anytime soon. So that one I put on pause. But yeah, that was pretty much everything that I'm reading. I feel like I could finish the Magic and Melanin anthology. I really want to. I only have like I want to say 6 stories left, but I'm not exactly sure. I would really need to count. But I have 6 stories left of that one. And so I feel like I could finish that before the end of this vlog. Favorite star, I'm not exactly sure. I really do want to just kind of sit down and read it. And I'm taking this week after that long weekend to not really do anything except like really read and like catch up on like other things. But yeah, I really want to finish Magic and Melanin, Fevered Star, and I am also reading The Daughter of Shiloh, which I'm not really that pressed about finishing yet just because like I'm still like I just started that one. But the Fever Star and Magic and Melanin, like I need to finish those because I've been reading those for too long. And I know for a short story collection, it's not like I have to read it like super quickly or anything, but I'm actually kind of tired of it being on my currently reading shelf. So I need to finish it. I just need to get to reading is what I'm basically saying. And I'm really hoping that my book isn't the only one I finish in this vlog. I'm really hoping that I at least finished one other thing. But right now, I'm gonna get ready to go to work, and yeah, I guess I will check in later. All right, it is time to finally wrap up this video. I extended it just a little bit because I wanted to actually finish books in this one. And so I did actually finish a few books. So the first one that I finished was the Magic and Melanin anthology. I kind of forced myself to read those last few short stories. I think there was like 6 of them left, and I actually liked the stories towards the end. I don't have my Kindle with me, so let me actually go get the physical copy that I have. So I now have my physical copy with me. I actually forgot that it came with some artwork. Let me grab that really quick. So it came with this one. I think this is for the We're Going on a God Hunt by C.M. Lockhart, and then we have the one for La Purvis that is I think I Want to Kiss His Sister. So mermaid art and God Hunter art, and both are gorgeous. But now let's talk about these stories at the end. So the first one was Sickle Cell by Joel Anthony Hamilton, which was a horror fantasy. This one I vaguely remember, but I remember that I wasn't as engaged with this one. Like, I think that it had an interesting setting. Like, I enjoyed that it had like more of a wintry setting and that the character didn't really like the cold, but I just wasn't engaged with it. And I don't really like know what it was about this story. I almost feel like it was partly because of like my expectations. Like, it's horror fantasy, but was I feeling horror from this? I don't necessarily think so. But then again, like, I'm also not really like a horror reader either. So like, I don't know. I feel like the story was fine. I don't really remember it. I don't think that I was really engaged with it. So I think I would give that one like 3 stars. Like, I appreciated the spin on like sickle cell disease. And I even want to say that like the sickle cell disease made the people that had it like cannibals or something. But like, yeah, it was interesting, but again, not very memorable for me. The next one was of Celestial Flame by Doyen Adderall. Doyen Adderall, I believe. And I enjoyed this one. Now, I feel like I've said before that I'm not really a fan of like short stories. I just feel like a miniature like novels, like when you can like kind of feel like the plot beats of stuff like happening. And I will say that this story of Celestial Flame, I kind of felt the plot in this one. And by feeling the plot, I mean like I felt like the plot beats. Like it was kind of reading like a typical novel would be. I feel like once you like start reading like books, like you kind of just like standard plot things that happen. And I feel like that's what this one felt like. And that's not a bad thing. Like, I think that the author did it very well. And I'm still very intrigued to try out more by them because I really like their writing. I really liked the characters in this one, but like I said before, like I really like theme driven kind of stories that like make me think about something. And I don't think I necessarily got that from the story. This one had like a little bit of a romance in it as well that I thought was cute, but it wasn't like a romantic fantasy where you're building that chemistry between the characters. They just kind of had like a thing already. But then there's also like external like political things happening and corruption and stuff. So like I would definitely check out a full length novel from this author. And I do think that this was one of the better stories in the collection. So I definitely like the story. So I think I would give that one like a solid 4 stars. So this next one is actually probably one of my favorites of the entire collection. Like I think I have about three favorites, and this is a new to me author that I just like. Do they have anything out? And they don't. And this is The Bane of the Damned by Shelby and Rose. Now, in the last story, I said that like you kind of feel the plot beats and stuff happening in like that kind of story, and I kind of feel the same in the Bane of the Damned. But I think what is different in this one is that this one feels very much more character driven, and y'all know me and characters. Like I love it. You're following this assassin with a complicated history, and of course it's like one of my favorite characters, and then there's like politics and stuff happening, and he is asked to do this one job for these people. I don't want to say too much because yeah, like it's a short story, but like the way that the story left off, for one, it could definitely lead into a full length novel, and I want that novel. Like I want to be with these characters. I want to see what happens. Like I just want to know. Like I am so hooked just from this like short story. I want to be in this world a little bit more. You don't get like a lot of the world building details, but because of the character that we're following, I just want to know more. Like I want to follow him. Like I literally just want to read more about this world and what he's going to do next. Like that's how much like I love the character in this one. I also thought that the character dynamics were like very interesting in this one. There's a lot of like complicated relationships in this one, and yeah, like I want a phone like novel, and I follow the author on Instagram just to see if there's like any book coming out, and I have heard nothing. So I will be anxiously waiting when they put out a book, and I'm really hoping it's connected to this short story because yeah, it's definitely one of my favorites. It gave me those interesting character dynamics. It gave me like great writing. It gave me those like fantasy assassin vibes that I like, and I wanted more. I wanted more. And I'm happy that I discovered a new author that I really want to read more from. And then we go to the next one, which was interesting to say the least. This one is called Lost in Thought by James Geddes. This is a portal fantasy, and there is content warnings for it being like sexist and toxic masculinity and all that other stuff. And like from the first paragraph, you can get that. Like the main character, has some biggery, sexist ideas, and just the way that they think, like it was something else. And I will say, like the themes of like toxic masculinity and like sexism and all that stuff, it's explored, and he kind of starts to learn how to do better. But I honestly just did not really like the writing in this one. Like I feel like I wanted just like a little bit more depth isn't the right word. Like I don't know how to describe like what I'm feeling like is lacking from what I wanted in the story. I purely think that this was just not the story for me. And I could see the potential in it, especially because like I said, we're following a character that has these ideas, like these toxic masculinity ideas, has sexist thoughts about like his wife basically, and the role of creativity and like art and stuff, and being the man of the house and all of that. But maybe just like because it was like juxtaposed with this like portal world of like imagination, like it was, I don't know, I it just wasn't my favorite, and I'll leave it at that. And then we have To Shape the Night by Tonja K. Johnson. Tanya. I think it's Tonja. I feel like this one felt a little bit more romantic-y. It's categorized as dark fantasy, but honestly, I feel like this one is more what I would see in a romantic, or really just like a paranormal romance or something, because this character is a witch. She has a cottage, and she does these like potions, and like she basically lives alone and all of that. But people come to her for her magical stuff. But this guy ends up coming to her, and she has all of these ideas that she was taught about like men and just like what will happen if like a man touches her and all this other stuff. But this guy is not leaving until basically she helps him. So as they are together, they start to build a romantic relationship together. I thought this one was good. I don't really have strong feelings towards it. I did like the chemistry between the characters. The main character, I'm forgetting her name. They said that she was like 26 or something, but I don't believe that for a second. Like I feel like this character was like 19 because the voice just read super young, and I feel like that was partly because of her naivete with like how she was growing up and stuff. But like I don't know, 26 was a stretch, but overall, I thought that this was a good story. Like, I really liked the chemistry. I liked the male main character. I think his name was Harlow. There was like a talking plant or something. So it just gave me like cozy, romantic-y vibes. And yeah, I thought it was cute. So I like that one. And then we have the last story. Today We Are Generals by Tatiana Obey. And this one, I wasn't sure what I would think of it because it started with a lot of action. And like I said before, I am not a huge action scene reader, but we're following this battle basically between these siblings. And I never really understood like why they had like this whole sibling beef happening because you're just thrown right into the action. But the twist in this story definitely made me smile. Like I was just like, wow. Like I'm not gonna say what the twist is, but I appreciated that twist because I don't think any of the other stories have like a twist like that, and I really appreciated like their creativity of it. And so that is a story that I think that I would like honestly keep thinking about because like it just surprised me, and I enjoyed the twist and like how the author did that. And so like a lot of the other things like started to make sense. So I think I would give that one like maybe 4.5 stars because yeah, I really did enjoy that one. So overall, I thought that the collection was solid. I feel like the ones in the beginning weren't necessarily my favorite, but if I had to do like my top five, I would say in no particular order because that would be too hard. But I think my favorite stories would be Mama Cactus Die by Moses Osei Utami, the Omari Richards story that I am blanking on the name. Let me see. Hold on. The Promised Road, A Tale of Nawala by Omari Richards. I think I would put that one in my top five as well. The Bane of the Damned by Shelby N. Rose would definitely be in my top five. So that's three. I'm looking over here at the physical copy. Hold on. I would also put Today We Are Generals in my top five. And I think my last one would be Of Celestial Flame. Like, I just really like those five short stories. Like, those are my favorites of the entire collection. But yeah, I actually finished a short story collection, which I'm super happy about because I don't read them. So yeah, but that's not the only thing that I finished because not only have we finished a short story collection, not only have we finished my novel, but I actually finished a manga as well. But currently 30 and 30 is happening and I wanted to get back into another manga. And so I started reading Blood on the Tracks. And the way I flew through volume one, I was just like, wait a minute. I already have volume two, but like volume one, I was just like, okay, what are we doing? Like, you get this sense that like his mom is strange, like very overprotective and all this other stuff. But like the way that it opens up, I was just like, his mom is strange. And I don't know what's going on with her. And I feel like by the end of volume one, I'm still not sure what is wrong with his mom. Like, I just, I have so many questions. But like, I'm definitely like kind of hooked on this series now because I want to see where the story goes. Yeah, I really want to see where the story goes. So I finished that. In terms of other things that I have read, I read more of Daughters of Shiloh. I am not that hooked in it. I feel like it's very repetitive. I feel like we keep circling around this history that the male main character is it I'm Milton? Yeah, his name is Milton. We keep circling around this like history that he has with the Church of Shiloh. And I'm just like, okay, like, okay, I don't really care anymore because we talked about it in each chapter, and I'm up to chapter 5 now. But in each chapter, we keep getting this repetitive, like he has like trauma from this thing, and we know it has something to do with his dad. And I'm just like, okay, can we get to the plot? Can we please get to the plot? But yeah, there's that. And then we get more information about, oh my gosh, I don't even remember her name. I want to say it starts with L, but I'll put her name on the screen. But we get more information with her and like what she wants to. But like, even though this book is like less than 300 pages, I just feel like it's moving so slow. Like the pacing isn't necessarily the best, and I'm not necessarily hooked on like wanting these characters to be together either. I'm not super in love with this, but I'm going to stick it out because I appreciate the setting. It is set during Black Reconstruction in America. So we're seeing all these different ideas of like which would be the best path forward for Black people to prosper in America. You have Booker T. Washington's ideas, and you also have Du Bois's ideas. So I'm appreciating that element of it, but the romance that I was thinking I was getting in this, I'm not a fan so far. So yeah. I am also about 100 pages into Favorite Star right now as well. And honestly, I'm feeling like a lot of this is filler. I just, I don't know. First, let me talk about Shiala because I am actually massively disappointed with her parts. I feel like so far it has been mainly like, I need to get back to Serapio. I love Serapio. Like, I want to get back to him. I hope that he chooses to come with me and all of that. While Serapio in his chapters is all about standing on business, like, he needs to finish what the Crow God started. And of course, Serapio has like moments where he's just like, oh, I want to be back with Shiala and all of that. But like, compared to the both of them, I'm just like, Shiala is like lovesick right now, and I'm just like, she had so much potential as a character in the first one, but ever since they had that one little love scene in the first one, I'm just like, where did her character go? And that's disappointing. I think Serapio is still like an interesting character. I'm curious to see like what becomes of him as we continue on in the story. Narampa is also an interesting character to me. I mean, so far, because I did not like her parts in the first book, but like there's something that's revealed about her that I'm curious to know where the story will take her character. So I feel like there's things that are keeping me intrigued, but like, am I as hooked as I was in Black Sun? No, but I'm still gonna stick it out because I'm very curious to see where this story goes. But that has been basically my reading. I finished a few things, started a few other things, and I finished my book. So I feel like that is a good place to stop this video. I feel like in the next video I will finish Blood on the Tracks 2 and probably Fevered Star. But yeah, that'll be the end of this video. I really appreciate you guys for watching this video. And if you want to leave me a comment to let me know that you are here, you can always just leave whatever emoji I put on the screen. But until next time, I will see you in my next video. Bye.